Brandon banks back. Even if the field goal is missed, the Argos have to get the ball out or else they give up a point and the game is tied. Academic, if he makes it, Winnipeg will take the lead. No! Partially blocked as well. It rolls down. A block and then a block.
The opening game of the 2023 CFL season was in Calgary, where the Stamps and new starting quarterback Jake Meyer took on the BC Lions and their new quarterback, Vernon Adams. Adams put on a show for BC, tossing 288 yards and 2 scores while completing 77% of his passes. Granted, he came close to throwing like 4 picks, but he only threw 1, so it doesn't matter. Things on the other side were not going very well. Meyer is taking over for Bull Levi Mitchell in Calgary, only one of the most successful quarterbacks in their history. He did not give fans much to get excited about. He had just 166 yards on the day, and most of that was at the end of the game. He was also extremely erratic with his ball placement. He was all over the place. Granted, he was hit quite a bit, but that rattled the 26-year-old.
For a touchdown last season, longest run in the CFL. Go. There is picked up.
I mean, you just can't make this throw. The Stamps' running attack was also subdued, with leading running back Kadeem Carey only having 43 yards on the day. Meanwhile, the Lions got some help with their newly acquired back Taquan Mizell, who had 81 yards on the day. None of this is to say that the Lions looked dominant, however. In fact, they had to rely on a depth receiver making a remarkable grab in the 4th just to stop a quick 2-and-out when the Stamps were gaining momentum. Without this grab, it's possible, if not likely, Calgary would have just marched down the field and stolen this one from the Lions. Hey BC, learn to hold a lead. This game was ugly, but a fun type of ugly. If you're the Ticats, you're extremely concerned with whatever you call a defense. I mean, yes, the Blue Bombers do have the best offense in the league, but to give up 21 points in the first quarter of a brand new season is what I would consider a start from hell. To be fair to that unit, however, it is hard to defend when the offense doesn't seem like it wants the ball. In fact, neither team did, for that matter. There were a combined 12 turnovers in this game. 12! And that was an even 6-6 split. In his first game as a Ticat, Bull Levi Mitchell threw 2 picks and fumbled the ball once. It wasn't all bad though, he did throw for 200 yards and a touchdown. The run game was alright, though nowhere near as good as Oliveira's 113 yards for Winnipeg. Much like the first game, Hamilton had a chance to come back, but a late game field goal put that game out of reach. Still, the fact that the score was, at one point, 32-4 and it ended as close as it did, should give Hamilton at least some bit of faith. Right? Ottawa, please do everyone a favor and start anyone other than Nick Arbuckle next week. Hell, assign Cam Newton to be your quarterback, at least then it would be entertainingly awful. The Red Blacks were forced to play Nick due to an injury to their starter. This was the wrong decision. Arbuckle threw 3 interceptions, all of them on horrible deep passes that looked like they were thrown with the same velocity that Kellen Moore had. Also, they were all thrown in double or triple coverage. Just stop throwing deep! His underneath passing was fine. Why try to stretch the field constantly when it's not working? I guess that could be due to the fact that Ottawa apparently has the league's worst rushing attack. All 3 rushers combined for just 55 yards on the ground. On top of all of this, they also didn't even score a touchdown in this game. Just field goals. I guess on the bright side, your kicker is good. The other sideline in this game had a big storyline of their own to focus on. Cody Fajardo. Cody is a first-year Alouette. The former Rough Rider had a tough year last year, tossing a career-high interceptions. Hoping a change of scenery is what he needed, he headed off to Montreal this year. His opening game was decent. Sure, he didn't throw a touchdown, but he also didn't throw a pick. He had a very cool 67 completion mark. His numbers would look even better if he wasn't getting hit on every single play. Seriously, the man was sacked 6 times. Overall, a promising start for the Alouettes. Just please protect Cody. Revenge game. For more than one person. Obviously the biggest being Trevor Harris, returning to Edmonton to play against the team that he used to be the starter for. He did battle injuries while he was with them, but it's not like they had a great replacement. Speaking of which, Taylor Cornelius has sucked thus far in his pro career. He started 8 games in 2021 and threw 13 picks that year. He had a QB rating of 70. 2022 wasn't much better, and he got hurt. So this is a big prove-it year for him as well. let's just say he didn't prove it. Taylor looked bad against the Rough Riders. Keep in mind the Elks went out and got only one of the best wideouts in all of the CFL in the offseason to help him, and he still was bad. In fact, take away a jump ball catch from that receiver that he turned into a 102-yard score, he would have only thrown 100 yards even in the whole game. It's not like he didn't have chances. He threw the ball 25 times. He just couldn't do anything with them. Oh, by the way, the first 2 touchdowns in this game came from newcomers to their respective teams. That's nice. Now, if only the Elks could block. No surprise here, the Rough Riders win their de facto home game because the Elks still can't win at home. Oh, but not before they injure their starting quarterback in the dumbest fashion ever. What the fuck were you thinking?
Bombers need 7. They'll take more for sure. Pressure coming. Polaris to